take CBDCs or lose the money in your bank account. If we can actually present them with an alternative, that's how we can actually win. And that's how we can actually shut down the system, because their system requires nearly 100% compliance. I mean, 2 or 3% of people exiting the existing fiat system, and they're in trouble because the system is already highly leveraged and collapsing. The problem is they know that too. It's a controlled demolition. So if we can kind of unwind their thing before they have a chance to roll everything out, then we actually have a shot. So I do believe that it is possible, but I think that is what's required, actually having user-friendly tools. And I'm going to continue to go. I'm booking 17 of these workshops all over the U.S. and the workshops are getting larger. More people are turning out. I mean, and these are people in a million years we would have not been talking to. 5 years ago, 7 years ago, we would have laughed about even the idea that these people would show up for a workshop like this. So I have that gives me a little bit of hope and confidence. But I will say it's exhausting because we're almost out of time. And what I hadn't sensed, even in the Liberty community and the crypto community, is any sense of urgency. And by the way, I understand why, because when I started researching CBDCs, here's some interesting facts. In 2020, there were only 35 countries at the research stage. Other than China, nobody had rolled out a CBDC, right, in 2020. 35 at the research stage. Today, 134 countries representing 98% of global GDP are at some phase of researching, piloting, developing, or rolling out CBDCs. 11 countries have rolled out CBDCs. There are more CBDC accounts globally today than there are crypto accounts. And all of that has happened just in 4 years. So while we're sitting here talking about adoption, one of the things that drives me nuts about Bitcoin maxis is like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day and it's going to take time. And they try to compare how long it took for gold and other things to be used. It's like, no. Instagram, TikTok, OpenAI. We live in a modern world where technological adoption happens overnight. You can get a billion users in 24 months. And they're sitting around like, well, and so they're not taking it seriously. And so now all of crypto has been dwarfed by these CBDC accounts. Not that people like them, right? And it's not that they're great, but they're being consistent in rolling them out and making adjustments. I mean, they're committed to this strategy because at the end, this ends up being a global government type of situation where energy credits back actually what currency is. I could go into that. I go into that in the book. But they're committed to their strategy, and we're sitting here like, well, my coin is better than your coin, and it's like, great. Bitcoin has a $1.26 trillion market cap. That's like less than half of Apple, and it's a little more than 2 times the value of frequent flyer points, right? So in broader perspective here, if we're looking at really competing globally and offering something in the digital payment space, it's still a drop in the bucket after 15 years. And now it's a distraction because the people that are putting their money into Bitcoin are not putting their money into something that can be used as an alternative to CBDCs. They're actually putting their money into something that can be easily confiscated. I believe that the ETFs were approved to make it easy to confiscate Bitcoin. It's even in the risk factors of the ETFs themselves, right? BlackRock isn't taking custody of these Bitcoin. They're using Coinbase. So now if I buy a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, I own a part of this financial instrument, and then BlackRock doesn't even hold the coins. Coinbase holds the coins. When I sell my ETF shares, I don't get redeemed in Bitcoin. I get paid in fiat.